Hello and welcome to Real Menopause Talk. My guest today is Gia Mills. Gia is a renowned and highly regarded makeup artist, having worked with A-list actors, models and singers, on editorial for the likes of Vanity Fair and Vogue, and on high-profile advertising campaigns. When she discovered that a staggering 75% of women are put off exercise for fear of being judged on their appearance, she decided something had to be done. So she created Skin in Motion, a cruelty-free vegan skincare and makeup line designed specifically to stay put during exercise and for menopause. She and I met up so I could learn more. Gia, lovely to meet you. Thank you for coming on this morning. How are you?
Very well, Hattie. Very good, thank you. Been out in the drizzle this morning, went for an early morning run, which I'm trying to sort of keep going with.
Good start to the day. Would you like to start off by telling everybody a little bit about yourself, your background, your work, family, and whereabouts you are now?
Yes, so my name's Gia Mills. I am a makeup artist and I used to be in advertising, which you and I were chatting about before we started recording our previous lives in the sort of ad world back in the day. And then, so being a makeup artist for about 15 years, worked with a lot of actors, celebrities, all sorts of stuff, but I'm also a massive fitness lover. So I try, endeavour always to get out and exercise. I used to live in London. I've moved to Oxfordshire to live in the countryside at the beginning of the pandemic. And it's been amazing getting out of London and being able to live, not have to be in the city, which has been really fun. And I found out quite a few years ago that lots of women are put off exercise by how they look. And I wanted to change that. So I set up a brand called Skin in Motion, which is skincare and makeup designed for women that like to move. And so that's a sort of nutshell. I have lived with a gorgeous boyfriend, have loads of family nearby who all moved up here as well, which is great. And so that's a sort of snippet of me. We're part of the Gen M movement. And I'm 47, nearly 48, and wanted to do what we can, because our brand, although it's designed for women who exercise, also the products work really well with women going through the menopause. And we want to sort of be able to support women to make them feel good about themselves, because it's, from being a makeup artist, doing makeup on women, how someone feels, it's just liquids and potions, but what that can transformative effect. So how that can help women get out and exercise. And also our products work well with menopause. So if we can help people have that confidence, that's really what we're sort of about. So we wanted to get involved with Gen M and start kind of helping women, give them products that work, that are fit for purpose, when you're having the different menopause symptoms.
Yes, huge fan of Gen M and Heather and Sam there. They are doing great work. Before we go into Skin in Motion, which I'm dying to learn more about, whereabouts are you in terms of menopause?
It's so lovely that we can openly talk about this stuff. And because I think because obviously we're coming into this world now, and it was something that we never really paid much attention to when you were younger, but also no one talked about it when we were younger. And it's so nice that we're coming into the menopause as we're able to be more open about it. So it's lovely that you can sort of say, where am I? So I'm 47, 48. I started thinking I might be getting symptoms. So I went and had tests done. They said there's no signs of sort of menopause coming on, although I have been getting quite a few symptoms, which I think are related to it. But so far they've said, no, you're not, but we'll look into it and keep track of it. So that's where I am at the moment.
What kind of symptoms have you been experiencing then, potentially?
I have had really bad night sweats. So I literally wake up and I have to take my clothes off or move to a sort of separate bit of the bed because it's so hot, which is just horrid. And also I think the brain fog I've been getting, it's literally progressive, but my brain used to be really firing and I'd remember everything and it was like snap. But now my short-term memory, it's just like, I have to get this beginning of this year, I've really got back and really working on my fitness and health, and it's sort of getting a bit sharper. But if I sort of, don't really, really look after my health ridiculously, it's really bad. The brain fog, short-term memory is really bad. And I know that that's a symptom of perimenopause or menopause itself.
Mm-hmm. What tests have you had? I'm just curious as to who has said, no, you're not, or yes, you are.
Well, I went to see my local GP and he did a
Mm-hmm.
blood. He said that I gathered that it can fluctuate your hormones and it's never a good indicator having just one blood test. But I did say to him, he sent it off to, I think he was sending the information off to a sort of hormone or something clinic, and they were going to advise back whether I could go try some patches or something just to see how that helped. And I haven't heard back from him yet. He said he'd get back. So
How do you feel about the prospect of going into perimenopause?
good question. I think, like many people, you kind of think it won't happen to me, and there's a slight sense of denial. But what is amazing, because this is being talked about, because it's being openly not normalized, because it's bloody what happens to us. There's no getting away from it. So I kind of, I'm not looking forward to, you just hope that you get some okay symptoms and it's not too bad. So I'm just like, if I can look after my health the best I can and do the things like Gen M tell us what are the symptoms, what to do, how to sort of minimize and make it livable, then I feel really much more equipped. Whereas I think women before probably were quite depressed because they couldn't talk about it. They didn't know because no one was mentioning it, the different symptoms. So I think I'm feeling quite equipped and ready to sort of tackle it and just hope that I don't get really bad symptoms. May I ask where you are and stuff in it as well?
Yeah, of course you can. I am definitely perimenopausal. I'm 48. I've had quite a range of symptoms, but not necessarily the hero famous ones like hot flashes. Definitely had the night sweats. Horrible, horrible, horrible to begin with. But this was kind of more before I realised I was in perimenopause. And definitely if I had a drink, it would exacerbate it to a horrible extent.
Really?
That
If you
seems
had a
to
few
have,
drinks, your sweat was worse?
yeah.
I thought exactly the same.
Ah, there you go. It's like menopause bingo.
Yeah, that's so funny.
That seems to have settled now. I can have a couple of glasses of wine and it's not a problem. But for a good couple of years, it was hideous. And sometimes I'd just deal with it, and sometimes I would avoid drinking. Not a heavy drinker anyway, but certainly at the weekend, a couple of glasses of wine or a couple of gin and tonics is uh, something I really enjoy.
I sweat a lot if I have had alcohol. I think it's like the body purging it out. It
Yes.
seems to be a way of it, whether it's a menopause, I don't know where the connection, but it felt like it was the body going, right, I just need to getting all the toxins out. It was expelling it. So anyway, but it's pretty ghastly, and we kind of need a towel or something that you can have on a sheet that you can then replace and remove, that in the middle of the night when you wake up and you're just like, oh, this is horrible, I need to do something about this.
That would be a really good invention. Yes. Anybody out there? The brain fog as well, intense anxiety and lack of self-confidence, loss of who I am, for want of a better expression. But life has been going on as well. There have been a few major life events. So it's been quite hard to work out whether it's all due to that or perimenopause or delightful combination of both. But it seems to be settling currently.
It's so interesting how it can affect, people get tinnitus and all sorts of weird things. Yes. And it's like, God, talking about menopause with a few people, it's like, why does evolution for women, why does this happen? Because I don't think women live this long normally. So this is a sort of weird sort of anomaly that no one ever thought would actually happen, in sort of the evolutionary terms, because women didn't live that long. So they didn't actually experience this.
Why? I don't know. I've read about narwhals. So there are only 4 other mammals who experience menopause in the same way that humans do. I believe this anyway. And the grandmother narwhals go through this experience and then are revered by the rest of the pack. Our experience, we're then able to sort of look after the young and pass our experience on down to each generation. So there's something out there in nature that once you get to a certain level of experience, you're able to look after those coming up behind you. So there's got to be something that ties us into that.
That's rather lovely. And it is educating the next generation so that that's our sort of responsibility to make them feel okay when they get to our stage.
Yes.
So that they feel confident and there's enough sort of again, the normalizing, the education, the workplace stuff that Gen M are doing, the medication, the science, the research, all that we can help push forward now, and to allow the young to benefit. When mum's being really grumpy, it's fine because we know what's going on and we know how to deal with it. And actually it can help. It helps everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Sport, 100%. I mean, if anyone's ever ill or not feeling well or feeling a bit low, actually not when they're ill, but when they're feeling low or things are going wrong, and like exercise. If you can exercise, it's the best thing to help you. And it's not about losing weight. It's not about doing it because you want to have the perfect figure. It's all to do with how by sense of vitality, mental health. It's therapy, basically, I think.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And being able to go to the gym or yoga or do boxing or whatever makes you happy, feeling as though you're presenting yourself well is amazing. If you have the right makeup. I've always been a person who likes to wear some makeup, whether it's even just mascara.
Yes. The mascara, for sure. I mean, it's like you just want to, it's confidence. It's not vanity. There's always this battle. Vanity versus confidence and how it makes you feel. So it's a really good discussion that we often have and people often bring up. But I love it's about this whole debate, fitness and beauty and vanity and etc. It's really interesting. You don't want to come and sit and meet someone in your pajamas. It's like there's a sense when you're kind of dressed and ready to face the world. It makes you feel confident. Mm-hmm. And I think lots of us, like when you and I first came on the call earlier, you were saying, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm not really ready, and I haven't really got makeup." We kind of apologize for how we look, and when we feel confident, I think you generally are ready to face the world and do the things. And I think we found research that said that lots of women are put off exercise by how they look. And that can be anything from their weight to spots to how their face is looking, because they don't want to be out there as people seeing them, because they're like, I don't want people seeing me without my face of makeup. And being a makeup artist and a fitness lover, I was like, that's awful, because we, like you and I are saying, how important exercise is. Mm-hmm. So we want no one to be put off exercise. If that's one reason you're like, oh, I don't really want to exercise because I just want to feel a bit more, I can't wear my foundation or mascara or whatever when I'm exercising, or I just don't feel like myself. We want to kind of say, well, look, here's some products. If it does give you the confidence, you don't have to have it, because we're not saying it's mandatory. But if you do want to wear makeup, wear something healthy and that's fit for purpose, it stays. So we just design stuff that's specifically for that. It also works brilliantly for the menopause, but when you're exercising, and that's what it does. And it gives you that little boost of confidence that makes you feel, because we spend all this money on people spend money on like super expensive Lululemon and all sorts of products. I've got really bad rosacea that you can't see now because I've got our makeup on. And I don't want to look all sort of weird and red and stuff. I like to if I'm working out with friends, I just want to feel like, hi, I feel a bit more myself and a bit more polished and done. And I think it's just a confidence and empowering thing that we can do for ourselves.
How did you become a makeup artist in the first place? And then how did that lead you to Skin in Motion?
I was again, you and I were talking about both being in advertising, and I worked in advertising years ago, and I was just not happy in it. It just didn't fit with me as a person. And I walked past a few studios, had been on a few shoots, ad shoots, and I'd seen the makeup artist and just gone, oh my God, that looks like the bbest job in the world. Her office is in a wheelie bag with all her makeup in it. You get to meet amazing people, connect with people on an emotional level where you're touching their face. It's quite an intimate experience. Yeah. And I left where I was working and I just started from scratch and built up slowly. And that's how I kind of got into it and just worked really hard. I came into it quite late in my sort of early-ish 30s. So I had to work really hard because I hadn't sort of come up through the ranks. And then because I'd always lots of life experiences, feeling highs and lows. And the lows, I used to always know that exercise was the thing that made me feel better. If I could just get out and move, particularly in a group community with people and exercise, it just made me feel better when I was feeling really rubbish. So combine those two things, finding out that women are put off exercise, seeing an opportunity, seeing that there was a market, that lots of Mintel research I was reading from the ad world and stuff, I read stuff, that there's this whole active beauty, athleisure for the face kind of thing. So I thought, oh my God, there's something here. So it's, been about 4 years from inception to a lot of hard work and I have a brilliant business partner, and we're both working our little socks off to build the business, build the brand, and make it all sort of give people really, really good products that really work, that they feel confident wearing, that are healthy, stay put, and just, just delight and get them sort of feeling that sense of like, right, I'm ready to go out now. It's like getting your new leggings on. I'm like, I'm ready to get out, want to move, and everybody, you just feel better.
You do. It gives you an extra sense of motivation when you feel good about yourself. Yes, makeup, I feel, is key to getting out of the house.
Yes, just a little bit, just that little. We've all got that one thing. What would be your one thing that if you allow one bit of makeup before you leave the house, what would your one thing be?
Mascara, definitely, every time.
Me too. It's funny, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I'm exactly the same. It just opens your eyes up a bit, and it just, I don't know, it's a funny old thing. But no, I'm totally. Some people are lipstick. I don't really wear much lipstick because I've got small lips and it doesn't really stay on that long. I like lip balm and stuff. But it's funny what we like. We didn't design anything that was too heavy because we didn't want. If you have something that's like concrete, that's so thick that covers everything, it just. There are one or two really good brands out there. Shiseido does one that is like so thick and you can put it on and it will literally not move, but it looks really fake. But it's great because it literally stays on, but it just looks really horrid, and it doesn't look, your skin just looks really kind of like you've got loads of old-fashioned makeup on, but it, you can do everything in it. Whereas our first kind of coverage product, I wanted it to make it look like your skin, but just take the edge off a bit of, the grayness that can happen, give it a bit of glow, give it a bit of coverage. So you just kind of go, oh, I feel a bit more done. So that's what we've done. And we've got the concealer then, if you've got, because everyone said they wanted a bit more coverage sometimes. So the concealer, which is water resistant, just gives that little bit of extra coverage. And it's all and everything's breathable, so it doesn't clog the pores, which is really important.
I know very few women who like the done look, in that you can tell that you're wearing foundation. And the younger generation as well prefer not to look, or the ones I know anyway, they prefer to look natural but enhanced. So finding that level of makeup that does cover but not cake is really important. That's an exciting product. On that note, are there any do's or don'ts as a makeup artist that you would recommend for our age group?
I think actually it's the point about not having too much. It's like paring down a bit because, as the lines start showing, as things start happening, I think it's nice to sort of minimize, and enhance a bit. I think lots of, mascara is good. And I always say curl your lashes. If you can get in the habit of curling your lashes, that just really opens up the eye and really lifts it. And that really helps. Primers are quite good. I think, if we're talking from, our age and the menopause thing, the classic symptoms being either your skin gets quite dry and it loses plumpness, but also possibly battling with the hot, the hot sweats. So you want to have things that you can trust. So like a waterproof mascara. What was great when we saw Gen M, we were like, oh, this is great because actually our products work well because, if you sweat a lot, your mascara can run. So our waterproof mascara stays on. It's quite easy to take off. Other things are like lipstick can run. It can do that horrible feathering thing as well. And you can use a clear lip liner. So if you don't normally wear lip liner, you can get clear ones. So it's like a wax, and that'll hold the lipstick in place, which is a nice one. So if you're sweating as you're getting older, it's a good one. Primers on the eyelids, I think often, like if you're again getting sweaty, etc. Primer, and then any shadows and anything you put on, it's going to stay on a bit better. Good ones are those like Urban Decay Primer Potion. I think is really good. I think Laura Mercier does a good one, but those are just sort of a couple of things that you can do that are nice, that are kind of classic things that can go a bit awry. But I think generally it's like, don't overdo it to overcompensate. With a few tweaks, just gives you that little extra confidence, but you don't need loads.
Is it okay to play with makeup still? Because I've also heard that once you reach a certain age, you should know your makeup and wear the same thing, same formula, same colours every single day and stay safe.
I think that would be really boring to do that. I think, and it would be really boring. I think it's way more fun to have to experiment a little bit, and getting lipsticks that are not in your normal shade, having a bit of fun. Maybe doing a red lip is a bit of a commitment. For example, you've got to get the lip liner, you've got to get the color, you've got to keep it on. But it's sort of do your research, find out the lipsticks that stay on, which are the lip liners, and get a color that you like. Do a bit, read the reviews, find out, go into a store and get advice from people in the shops. I really want to buy at the moment, try some sort of eye pencils that are a bit brighter in colour, that are just a bit of fun. And actually it can look quite nice. And I think definitely experiment. I mean, I don't, not to the extent that you go completely bonkers, but it's playing. If you go out and people go, oh, that looks nice, it's like, oh, that's a bit different, and it's a bit of fun. But within reason, I think. But it's definitely that sort of trying new stuff. You've seen, I don't think go with the trends as sort of, the sort of old eyebrow pencil trends and lots of the sort of super thick eyeliner and the contour. It's age appropriate experimentation, I think. What do you think?
I think play, definitely. It's one of the pleasures of life. It's a joy just to have a bit of fun. And if it doesn't work out, you can just take it off.
It's just makeup. It's just go on. Yeah, absolutely. It's just like enjoy, but just do a bit of research so something that's not going to damage your skin, hurt your skin. Do it with a good mind.
Out of your products, then, which ones would you recommend specifically for menopause or hot flashes?
I'm going to sort of be boring, a bit technical with all this stuff now. So first of all, our skincare products work really, really well. So first of all, we've got biodegradable sweat removing pads. So they just gobble up the dirt. So if you've been out and you need something on the go, because you can't always have access to kind of cleaning your face, whether you're wearing makeup or you're not, but you're just like, oh my God, my skin just feels so sweaty, so horrible, and you want to clean it. It's got salicylic, which gobbles up any dirt. It's got aloe vera, so it calms the skin as well. And pomegranate enzyme, that's also a really good way to sort of remove the dirt. It's not like moving it around like some of the face, the sort of face wipes. So that's a really nice sort of handy product to use. And also we've got a mist. It's a cooling, calming and hydrating mist. So it's like a moisturizer and a mist, but it's very, very light. So when your skin's hot, or even in the middle of the night when you're going through the night sweats and you're just like, oh, I just need a bit of moisture, but I want to cool down and take some redness out. It's got brilliant ingredients. It's got licorice that takes some of the redness out. It's got mint that cools it down. It's about 98% sort of natural clean ingredients, and it just hydrates as well. It's got hydrolyzed hyaluronic. So use it at night. We had Nadine Baddock sort of recommended as a really great product, the lovely beauty journalist, as a good middle of the night when you're hot. But also if you've used the pads to get rid of the sweat and you want to hydrate again, but not put loads of moisturizer on because it can be really slippy, you can just mist and it just hydrates and cools. So those two are great from a sort of skincare point of view. Makeup wise, the mascara is great because, again, if you find your mascara drops, using the classic kind of menopausal symptom being the hot sweats, it means that it stays on much better and it's easy to remove. You just use eye makeup remover, but just leave it on the eyes to dissolve for a bit, and then you can kind of rub away, use micellar water or the sort of halo pads. And then our tinted moisturizer, it's breathable and sweat proof. So like we were talking before, it's not a very heavy, it give a little bit of coverage, which is lovely for more mature skin, and it's got loads of argan oil in it as well, which keeps it hydrated, but it also will be sweat resistant, so it doesn't sweat too much, but it breathes, so it doesn't clog the pores. So that's a really good one. We've got a concealer if you want more coverage, which is water resistant, so again helps with the sweating. And I think those are our key products that work well. Hopefully that's helpful.
That all sounds fantastic, because another thing is, of course, the dryness that suddenly happens almost overnight. Your skin feels as though it's absorbing oils and moisturizers almost instantly.
I'm going through that at the moment, actually. There's a bit of trial and error, I think, to a certain extent in what you find works, because some products, like my mother's used since the word dot, she mixes just a normal moisturizer with Vaseline and she puts that on her face. If I did that, she's done that since she started the menopause, but I think if I did that, my skin it wouldn't work. But for some, different products work for different people, and she's tried a lot and that worked for her. And I think it's sort of, I guess with the menopause, your skin changes a lot in that time, and it comes and goes. So you've got to be nimble to watch. It's just, it's quite exhausting, but I think it's sort of, again, talk to your friends. What, it's like, what do you use? It's asking your mates, look in magazines, ask the questions. And it's just nice to know what might work for you.
I think it's so wonderful that you have said that it's great that we can talk about it and ask each other, where are you in menopause? I do feel that sadly you are in the minority.
Really?
So, yes, I do. A lot of people don't talk about it. And even this morning I was thinking about how you have to have a certain level of courage to be open about being menopausal, because it's not often well received. Given that, one of my questions is, what would you like to change about the way menopause is perceived? Most feels redundant because it seems that it has for you.
I think it's continuing what Heather and the guys are doing with Gen M.
Mm-hmm.
I think continue that. It's these brilliant pioneering women who are just like fed up, and it's like, this needs to change. And people are just going, and what you're doing, having a podcast on this where it's been discussed, every single thing that people are doing in this way, lobbying government for the sort of changes, and in the workplace, from the magazines talking about it, Davina McCall talking about it, doing a TV show, all these things that everyone's standing up, chucking their head above the parapet talking about it, is making it more and more and more and more acceptable to talk about it. And I think I wouldn't necessarily go talking to it with people I didn't, a new person. Hi, how are you? Oh, I'm Gia. Oh, and I'm going through the menopause. What are you? It's like, but what's good is that you can talk to your friends. I don't feel personally in any way inhibited talking to my mates about it. By doing what we're doing is opening it all up. And I think it's fantastic. And it's like, all of us keep doing what we're doing and not being ashamed to sort of talk about the facts. And I think the only battle is allowing for men to be comfortable. I think women aren't necessarily that uncomfortable. Is actually, they're great creatures, but I think because they don't go through it, and it's a weird woman's thing, it's allowing them to feel it's talking to it in a way to guys that they can start feeling comfortable with it. And I think that's an interesting one that needs a bit more, the thought of how that's done. I think we're really lucky to be where we are now, and hopefully it's just only going to get better.
Where can people find you?
They can find us on our website, www.skininmotion.com. Also we have lots of different people talking about tips and stuff on our Instagram, which is skin.in.motion. And we've been in lots of magazines and stuff of late. So you can probably see us in various magazines and things. But yeah, just the website and the Instagram is always nice, because you just then see what products are coming out and what offers we're doing. And we were doing quite a lot of stuff on menopause when we first launched the Gen M, and we'll probably hopefully do some more stuff. So again, just talking about makeup and giving people tips and that kind of stuff, and how to use the products depending on what their symptoms are.
That is wonderful. Thank you so much, Gia. Oh, it's been really lovely to talk to you.
Hattie, really nice to meet you. It's been really fun. Have a great day.
You too. Take
See
care.
You later.
Thank you. Bye. Gia is very kindly offering all Real Menopause Talk listeners 20% off all products until the 11th of February 2022. Simply go to skininmotion.com and use the code REAL20 at the checkout. You can find Gia at skininmotion.com and on Instagram, skin.in.motion. Thank you for listening. Please follow us on the podcast apps, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.